as you can see, I've started off on the wrong foot. So as you can probably imagine by now, I'm an engineer. Today I want to talk about Prometheus architecture. And since this is a flash talk, we're going to do a speed run. Now, for those you don't know who Prometheus is an open source monitoring tool which is based on metrics, and its architecture looks something like this. Now, if you look carefully at this diagram, you'll see you don't care. I don't blame you. I'd rather scroll through Twitter instead. So let's forget our diagram for now and move on. Let's say you're an early stage online food marketplace. Let's say you're running your application on Kubernetes. Not because you actually need Kubernetes, but because it was the cool thing to do. So let's meet one of your customers. This is Rick. Now, Rick logs into your application and wants 10 types of chocolates, 50 chocolates in total, and 1 type of diabetes. Now, there's a lot to unpack here. When did Rick log in? How does his craving impact your inventory? What was the overall app traffic at this point? How was the API performance? So you decide to get some observability into your system. So that's where instrumentation comes in. Instrumentation is basically you using a client library which is provided in various languages and writing a few lines of code in your application to observe what you want. The result is metrics, numerical values associated with timestamps. Now, that's fine for application metrics, but how do you instrument something like CPU usage or memory usage? Well, you don't have to. There's already existing software which is called Exporter. Each different type of environment, such as Kubernetes, also would have exporters written for it, which would collect the data from the environment and provide it to you in Prometheus-compatible metrics. But Prometheus still doesn't know where your metrics are. It needs to know the targets from which it has to collect the metrics. Now, that's where service discovery comes in. Service discovery is basically you telling Prometheus, these are the targets from which I want to collect metrics. So if you really hate yourself, what you can do is provide a static file with a list of targets and just cry about it for the rest of your life. But if you don't hate yourself, and since you're talking about Kubernetes, pods are ephemeral by nature. They come and go. So what we would want to do is use something like Kubernetes service discovery, which would use pod metadata and dynamically generate the list of targets. Now, once we have the list of targets, what would happen is Prometheus would send an HTTP request called a scrape, which would collect the metrics from all the targets that we have specified and ingest them to a storage layer. Now, if you're just trying out Prometheus locally and just instrumenting your device itself, you would by default be writing the metrics to your local disk. But if you're running it in your application, running it for your application, you would ideally be sending this metric data to a time series database that you have hosted somewhere. Once you have metrics in storage, you can do a bunch of cool things with it. You can create cool dashboards and pretend to know that what you're looking at. You can create alerts for when something goes wrong. You can then integrate those alerts with PagerDuty on OpsGenie to wake you up. And then you can go to sleep while hoping that you never actually wake up. Then you can wake up at the middle of the night at 3 a.m. And then you can see that you configured a wrong alert and you woke up for nothing. Then you can try to go back to sleep without any success. Then you can think that it was useless, that you hoped that this scenario would never happen, just like it was useless to hope for anything else good in your life. But maybe you don't have to go through all that. My name is Ujjwal. I'm a software engineer at Last9. And if you want to curse me for giving you an existential crisis while the conference was ending, you can find me on Twitter at ImportHuman. Thank you.